Now, rapper Lil Durk has been locked up since October 2024, when he was picked up by the feds on some very serious charges tied to a federal murder for hire plot. According to the indictment, Durk allegedly conspired with several other men to kill a rival rapper, an act that led to the death of the rival rapper's cousin at a gas station near the Beverly Center Mall in Los Angeles back in August 2022. So what's really going on in the Lil Durk case? Well, there are a few updates I want to share with you today. It's really crazy to think that Lil Durk, arguably one of the most successful street rappers to come out of Chicago from this generation, is now behind bars, caught up in a federal case that could change the entire trajectory of his life. It's really been crazy to see how this entire thing, came crashing down on Durk. Now, like most of us know, Lil Durk was arrested back in October 2024. But this wasn't just some casual run-in with the law. This was the feds stepping in with a heavy federal indictment, one that had clearly been building up behind the scenes for a while. That Thursday, Lil Durk, also known as Durkio, real name Durk Banks, was preparing to board a private jet to Italy when authorities made their move. He was arrested just about an hour before takeoff. A federal criminal complaint, unsealed the next day in California, revealed the reason why. Durk was being charged in connection with an alleged murder for hire plot. According to the feds, Durk had allegedly contracted 5 associates to kill Georgia rapper Quando Rondo, real name Taekwon Terrell Bowman, in relation for the 2020 killing of King Von, one of Durk's closest friends. Prosecutors claimed he even put out a monetary bounty on Quando Rondo's head, but the plan didn't go as intended. Quando survived, and instead, his cousin, Savia Lopab Robinson, was killed in broad daylight at a gas station in Los Angeles in August 2022. That shooting was captured on surveillance footage and quickly became a key piece of evidence in the case. What made things more suspicious was Durk's travel activity around that time. He had booked international flights to both Dubai and Switzerland, none of which he boarded. Instead, he ended up booked on a last-minute private jet to Italy, which authorities believe was a move to avoid what was coming. But before he could leave, the FBI swooped in. What made the arrest even more shocking is the fact that Durk had been staying relatively low-key leading up to that. He was locked in on music, making efforts to clean up his image, and distancing himself from street politics. So when the news broke that, Lil Durk was allegedly involved in something as serious as a, murder for hire plot, it caught a lot of people off guard. But then again, Lil Durk is a street rapper, he raps about the streets, and he obviously takes a lot of pride in, speaking on what he's seen and lived through. So when a case like this hits the headlines, your first reaction might be like, damn, not Durk. But the more you think about the music, the lifestyle, and the history, you start to feel like, it kind of makes sense. He talks about this in the music, right? According to prosecutors, this wasn't just another rap beef gone wrong. They claim Lil Durk orchestrated and funded the entire operation, which was a planned, organized, and orchestrated hit on rapper Quando Rondo. The feud between Quando Rondo and Lil Durk runs deep. It all stems from the night when rapper King Von died during a confrontation with someone from Quando's camp. The feds believe Durk used his position to retaliate, turning that personal vendetta into an organized act of violence. But this is where the case becomes real. Durk is not just being portrayed as an angry rapper seeking revenge. He's being framed as the leader of a violent criminal organization. Authorities describe Only the Family, OTF, Durk's Chicago-based collective, not just as a rap crew, but as an association in fact. In plain terms, they allege it's a structured group of individuals who commit crimes like murder and assault under Durk's direction to maintain power and respect within OTF. What tied it all together for investigators was the money trail. According to the prosecutors, the money used to fund the hit came directly from Durk and OTF-connected finances. Bank and flight records show that a close associate of Durk paid for 5 co-conspirators to fly from Chicago to California the day before the shooting. One-way tickets, all discreetly booked. And around the same time those tickets were being purchased, Durk allegedly gave one simple instruction: don't book no flights under no names involved with me. Why exactly Lil Durk thought it was a good idea to allegedly order murders and pay people using money tied to his business account, I don't really know, right? As a famous rapper and a public figure, man, what? Honestly, I wish I knew what was going through Durk's head, but here we are, right? Lil Durk's trial was originally supposed to happen on January 7th, 2025, but it got pushed back to October 2025. Both sides, the prosecution and the defense, agreed to the delay, saying the case is just too complex and unusual to rush, since it centers around an alleged murder for hire plot that targeted rapper Quando Rondo and led to someone else getting killed. They said they need more time to fully prepare for what's ahead. So the prosecution is saying, this case is so complicated with a lot of moving parts and different angles, and, hey, we need more time to properly prepare. And obviously they're trying to make sure that, this entire case in the end becomes bulletproof so Lil Durk spends time behind bars. And honestly, that makes sense. I mean, their job is to prove that Durk is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and for something this serious, they're not gonna rush it. As for Lil Durk's defense team, the delay works in their favor too. The more time they have, the longer they can stretch things out, review the evidence, and build a stronger defense, which is always better for their client when the stakes are this high. And part of the evidence already laid out in the original complaint is how they tied Lil Durk to Los Angeles during the time the murder went down. It's of course not new information, but it's a crucial piece because it helps the feds paint a timeline by placing him exactly where they need him to be. According to the criminal complaint, his former manager had rented a house in LA's Encino neighborhood during July, August, and September of 2022. Prosecutors say that Lil Durk was in Los Angeles when the shooting happened, and that they've got some receipts to back that up. Durk appeared in a podcast episode that was recorded inside that same Encino house, and in the court documents, they point to video footage from August 18, 2022, just one day before the shooting, clearly showing Durk inside the home. So not only do they have him in Los Angeles, they have him at a specific location tied to the case right before the hit went down. And obviously the feds didn't need this podcast clip to place Lil Durk in Los Angeles. I'm sure they had plenty of other ways of confirming that, but it adds another angle to the case and strengthens their timeline of events, showing just how locked in they are on building every piece of this puzzle. And it also shows how easy it is to incriminate yourself through content on the internet. Something as simple as a podcast appearance meant to promote music or just have a conversation can end up becoming key evidence in a federal case. In this situation, that one clip helped confirm Durk's physical presence in Los Angeles just one day before the murder, and that's not something the defense can easily explain away. So Durk is in Los Angeles, most likely, posted up with the same crew that was out here moving like some straight out of a John Wick movie, handling business like some street mercenaries, all for a paycheck. And all the feds had to do was follow the money, trace the flights, tap a few phones, and boom, they caught wind of everything. That's how they ended up finding that Durk said, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me."
Adding that around that time, iCloud records show that a phone number associated with Banks texted an alleged co-conspirator, quote, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me."
That right there is what we call self-snitching in 4K. And just when you thought things couldn't get any worse for Durk, they did. Because now the family of the man who lost his life, Savia Robinson, Quando's cousin, is coming after him in court. On February 24th, 2025, Savia's mother filed a wrongful death lawsuit in Cook County, turning this criminal case into a civil one too. The suit was filed by Postman Law and Rodin Law and is targeting everyone allegedly involved in the setup that led to her son's death. Savia wasn't just some name caught up in the crossfire. He was a father of 3 and a hard-working entrepreneur trying to take care of his family. But all that ended in one moment in broad daylight outside a gas station in Los Angeles. And I don't really know how much, this particular lawsuit is actually going to affect the criminal case itself. I mean, if we're being real, Lil Durk already has enough on his plate, right? He's facing federal charges, sitting behind bars, and fighting for his freedom as we speak. But it does show you the real ripple effect of all this. Behind the headlines and court dates, there are families grieving, kids growing up without a father, and people who never get their loved one back. This isn't just a rap beef, it's real life. And now Durk's decisions, if proven true, could cost him way more than just his career. I'm really curious to see how this all plays out for Lil Durk. And if I'm being honest, I think Durk is probably going to be gone for a little while. If everything the feds are saying holds up, I don't see how he's going to walk away from this untouched. Because let's be real, life in federal prison is on the table for Durk. And that's crazy to even say. We're talking about one of the most successful rappers to ever come out of Chicago from this new generation of rappers. And now he's facing the possibility of never seeing the outside world again. Like, imagine having all this going for you. The money, the fame, the influence, just to get caught up like this. Honestly, it's really crazy how things can just change like that. In the end, I think Durk's story is going to serve as a lesson. Whether people actually learn from it is another thing. Because if you're really deep in that life, you're not thinking about the consequences. And for most people in that world, nothing is really going to derail you until it's too late. And even then, most people won't learn. This is a reminder of how fast things can fall apart. If you made it this far, drop a like on this video. And if you're new here, my name is Blacky Speakz. Nice to meet you. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the family. What do you guys think about this Lil Durk update and his situation in general? I mean, ain't it crazy how, you can be this blessed and still end up behind bars for hiring hitmen? Honestly, I just think it's so crazy, and I can't even believe that Durk is in this situation, just being completely honest with you. But anyway, I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say about this conversation. Catch you guys in the comment section below, but most importantly of all, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Man, I am out this bit. Peace.